Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of TiE Kerala, it is my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to each one of you for this stakeholder interaction on ease of doing business for MSMEs and startups. We are privileged to have with us Shri Vishnukanth PB, IA&AS Accountant General, Kerala, Ms. Sherin MS, IA&AS Senior Deputy Accountant General, Kerala, and Mr. Vivek Krishna Govind, President TiE Kerala, and Mr. Damodar Avanur, past President TiE Kerala, and Managing Director, Chetana Formulations. So, I also welcome you all for this interaction. Let us begin the proceedings. For that, I invite President Vivek Krishna Govind to deliver the presidential address.
Thank you, Divya. Good evening to all of you. At the outset, let me warmly welcome and also thank two very eminent people who are with us with their team. We are extremely fortunate to have with us Mr. Vishnukanth and Ms. Sherin. They will speak to us more about their profile and what they do. So we will sit, all of us here are here to listen, interact, understand, and see how best we can support this initiative and also learn from them. Or I think we have some clarity on what is happening in the state, particularly over the last 3-4 years. We've been seeing a lot of changes in terms of the EoDB, and many of us have had the opportunity to be a part of various discussions, contribute in various ways, in both in terms of ideation as well as in terms of being part of research papers and various capacities. And we must really appreciate the great work which they have been doing as a team. So let me start a round of applause to all of you from the team, because it is not easy. Trust me, it's really not easy. It's very sitting on one side to be very cynical and say it's very easy to say that, but think about the people who are actually on the ground, who are trying to make that change. This is very, very complex state that we are in, and to make any form of change, it starts at the top, but as you drill all the way down. And it is also equally important that all of us as an ecosystem must support. We must contribute both in terms of knowledge capital as well as in terms of implementation also. We must be part of the ecosystem. We cannot see the government as one entity and the implementation as another, and entrepreneurs as another, and professionals as another. Nothing will happen. I think we should all work together, which is why we have forums like this. TiE Kerala is for entrepreneurship, CII is for the larger business community, FICCI, management chambers take care of the whole, the managerial segment of the chambers take care of various specific, interests. Seated here are very closely associated, wearing different hats in different organizations. I see my good friends here, past President Damodar is here, past President of KMA, Bibu is here, we have Anand here, we have Balendran sir here, who are professionals. Dilip, who's the next president of KMA, is walking in. So we have people, and many of you here, you're representing various organizations and various, supporting ecosystems, which is one good thing about TiE. When I joined TiE, that's what I saw. The leaders here and the team here includes the leaders from all the other, peer organizations. So TiE is a group of people who represent various other forums, various other bodies as well. So when we come together, there is some gravitas when we convey something, and which is what this discussion is all about. So we are, extremely glad that we have the team. It's a very important position when you say, the Accountant General and the Deputy Accountant General. Me being a finance professional, I understand, how important their position is, and we have deep respect for the work they do. So with these words, let me welcome the whole team, and I welcome all our delegates who are present here. Many are, will probably be joining us online and will be giving their thought capital to this even after the session once we circulate the minutes, and there will be certainly some more feedback which we can collect from some of our members and forward that to you separately. Thank you so much.
Before we commence today's interaction, it is my privilege to formally introduce our distinguished guests for this afternoon discussion. Mr. Vivek Krishna Govind, Chartered Accountant with over 26 years of professional experience. Mr. Vivek is an ICAI rank holder from Kerala in CA Final Examination and Certified Information System Auditor. He has held several leadership positions, including President of Kerala Management Association, Chairman of Ernakulam branch of ICAI, and Chairman of Young Indians, Kochi. He continues to actively contribute to strengthening Kerala's entrepreneurial ecosystem through TiE Kerala and various industry forums. Welcome once again, sir, for the program. And Shri Vishnukanth, PB, we are honored to have you with us today. He is the Accountant General Kerala who is leading this important stakeholder interaction as part of nationwide audit on ease of doing business. Mr. Vishnukanth belongs to the 2009 batch of Indian Audit and Account Service and holds a BTech degree in Information Technology. Prior to assuming charge as Accountant General, he served as Director Union Budget in the Ministry of Finance, Government of India, and as Director International Relations in the Office of the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. We are delighted to have you with us, sir. Joining him is Ms. Sherin, MS, IA&AS Senior Deputy Accountant General. Ms. Sherin belongs to the 2012 batch of the Indian Audit and Account Service and is a BTech graduate in Electronics and Communication Engineering from the College of Engineering, Thiruvananthapuram. She has held several important assignments within the Indian Audit and Account Department and has also served on deputation as Executive Director of the Kerala Social Security Mission and Director of Cooperative Audit, Government of Kerala. We are delighted to welcome you, ma'am. Mr. Damodar Avanur is the past president of TiE Kerala and managing director of Chetana Formulations. He is an accomplished entrepreneur and industrialist with extensive experience in the manufacturing and pharmaceutical sectors. As the managing director of Chetana Formulations, he has played a pivotal role in building the company into a respected name in the eye, ear, and nasal care segment. A mechanical engineer by training, he is also the former state president of Kerala State Small Industries Association and has been a strong advocate for MSMEs and entrepreneurship through his leadership in industry and TiE Kerala. We are delighted to have you with us, sir. And a warm welcome to all the charter members who are present here. I request each of you to kindly introduce yourself briefly about your name, company, and the sector which you represent.
I am also a past president of the Kerala Management Association and currently the vice chairman of the Cochin Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and of course the charter member of TiE too. Thank you.
Pass it on to others also.
Hi, I'm Tess Maria. So basically, I'm a company secretary. I'm here for Evaluer AI, which is our company. So basically, what we do in Evaluer AI is we are evaluating the companies, like the startups and other companies, debt valuation and equity valuation. That's what we do.
Good evening. My name is Joseph. I represent a company called SANS Laboratories Private Limited. We are a formulations business, manufacturing antibiotics. We are a 100% export-oriented unit. Thank you.
Mr. Jovi Paul, I also represent SANS Laboratories Private Limited. We are into pharmaceutical formulations.
Hi, my name is Anand Kumar. I'm a chartered accountant. I run a company called Finprove Learning, which is into skilling and upskilling. I'm also the vice chairman for Indian Society for Training and Development. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I'm a lawyer. My name is Manju. I represent the firm Altazar Global. We specialize in intellectual property rights and commercial contracts.
Hi. Myself Anil Kumar. I'm representing a company called Greenstone Construction Solutions. We are into anchors and fasteners industry.
Hi, good evening. My name is Sunil Dutt. I'm representing Experta Business Solutions, which is into HR recruitment and so we are based at Kalavantra. That's it. Thank you.
Good evening. I am Balachandran, a cost accountant by profession. Partner of BBS and Associates based out of Cochin. Thank you.
Hi, good evening everyone. I represent IBS Software. I head the external affairs of IBS. Thanks.
Hello. Hi everyone. I'm Nazin Azib. I represent Wellworth Polymers, which is a 50-year company. We are into production of PVC pipes and hoses and...
Yeah, hi, good evening team. My name is Manu Sunildat and I represent Experta Business Solutions. We are a recruitment firm mainly dealing with professional permanent hirings all over India. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rajat. I am representing Explore AI Mobility. We are helping in mobility transportation, making a public transport more feasible and practical. So we are helping this for city planning and more into the management of fleets.
Myself, Habib Mohammed, Senior Audit Officer of AG's office.
I'm Anish Unni, Senior Audit Officer, Office of the Accountant General.
My name is Abhishek. I'm Assistant Audit Officer, Kerala.
My name is Vaibhav Singh. I am also Assistant Audit Officer from Kerala. Thank you.
Brief presentation to get the objective and the scope of this discussion. May I request Mr. Vishnukanth to kindly present.
Respected organizers of the TiE, delegates who have joined here, my colleagues from AG office. First of all, thanks a lot for organizing this stakeholder interactions with a very short notice, hardly 10 days. When I found out about this TiE organization, I asked my team to get in touch with them, and we could organize within a very short notice. We are extremely grateful to the TiE for organizing this event. Why we are here? Why we wanted to have this stakeholder interaction? Basically, what's EAG of India? I think most of you must be familiar with the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. We are basically the auditors to the nation in the sense that we audit the central government departments as well as the state government departments as well as the ancillary government units like SPSEs, autonomous, major industry. So in terms of our constitutional architecture as well as our physical architecture, CAG plays a vital role. What is that vital role is basically to provide timely feedbacks on to the governments through Public Accounts Committee, through our audit reports, on the corrective measures which have to be taken, or also to the lessons which we learn as the government implements various programs. So we as an organization, we act as a very important feedback unit within our structure of our country's constitution as well as our administrative structure. This is the context. And as Accountant Generals of the state, we represent CAG in the state. So as an Accountant General in Kerala, I look after the economic sector of the government of Kerala. I also look into the state finances. So what CAG has done, what we are currently doing is we are doing a horizontal audit on ease of doing business in India. Horizontal audit in the sense that we are simultaneously auditing all state governments parallelly. We are also auditing all the central government departments which have a key, they are stakeholder departments with respect to the ease of doing business. Now coming with the ease of doing business, we started with this journey much earlier, 2014. It got conceptualized because World Bank started the study. Then Government of India through DPIIT, the department, has come out with Business Reform Action Plan. It envisaged a plethora of actions. Like what government has done is basically they have come out with various decriminalization acts through Jan Vishwas. A lot of deregulation has been done by the central government as well as by the state government. A lot of efforts have been taken to reduce the compliance burden. At least there is an intent from the government. There is also a lot of efforts have been put in for digitalizing the entire process. You must have most of you must have also partnered with the government for implementing the single window systems. Various state governments are now, there is actually a little bit of competition which is happening within the state governments itself to facilitate the industry. Why? Because it's very important in the sense that the MSMEs hold very important role in our entire, in the sense that economy, like 45% of our exports, huge amount of our employment opportunities are generated from the MSME. So with these things in the mind, government has come out with these measures like decriminalization, deregulation, then you have digitalization, single window systems, preferential purchase policies have been implemented to help micro, small and medium enterprises. So, so we have had almost 10 years since 2014. We have had experience with various versions of BRIP. DPIIT is evaluating various states, and Government of Kerala is also being awarded in different domains as top performers. So we thought that it is important for us for also to ground truth. What is the issue? What is the ease of doing business efforts? Is there any sort of learning opportunities, cross-learning opportunities? Is there any sort of loopholes, which as a CAG, we bring a different perspective as an outsider's perspective to the system? So this is the context why CAG has taken up this horizontal audit of ease of doing business. Now, for us as an auditor to the state, it also, apart from this particular exercise, being an auditor looking after the economic sector, we have to audit the industries department, we have to audit the tourism sector, we have to audit the port sector, we have to audit the power sector, right? So this is also a process for us as an organizer, as an representative of CAG, also to understand, what are the schemes, processes which have been put in place by these departments, and how does it play out with the real world with respect to the industry leaders or the participants who are on the other side of the beneficiaries of the government policies. So this exercise is very important for us. So we would like to, we have a very short placeholder presentation. Sherin, so basically we would like to hear the experiences across the business life cycle. Second, systematic issues which you are facing. Basically, something where you feel that some policy interventions, some policy changes have to be done. If you have had experience with the single window system, many times what happens is that many of the process, even though they claim to be integrated, it may not be really integrated, right? One common application form is supposed to cater to all departments, but it doesn't happen. But you still you have to chase all things with the different departments. So we need to really understand, like these are from little bit of your stories, you need not mention any specific this thing, but we also need to understand how these things, and we can also probably play ground truth it and bring it into our report and our feedback also. So that is why we are having this conversation. So basically, for example, in Kerala, you must be aware we have MSME Facilitation Act, which has come out with the concepts of deemed approval, in principle approval. 30 days, they will give you, deemed approvals. Risk-based inspection has been envisaged. KSWIFT portal has been rolled out. A lot of processes has been digitalized. Preferential purchase policy, I think about 15% bandwidth they also give for the government procurement. Government of Kerala and Government of India also has a lot of different schemes. These are just placeholders we have put in. It need not be, discussions need not be on that, but it could be any particular scheme if you have participated. If you have felt something could have improved, please bring it to our notice. We want to listen to you, your experiences of interacting with the government schemes, these type of policies. What are the bottlenecks? These are the issues which we are basically looking into. So in this process, we really want to gauge basically, what are our strengths. At the end of this audit, at the end of this exercise, CAG would come out with a lesson learned experience, not only for the Kerala, but also comparing with respect to other states, how do we perform. We also want to understand whether the situation has improved in the last 5 years. What is your experience? Is there any difference, what is in the paper and what is actually in the real play? Then whether approvals are available on time. These are some of the points which we thought that to initiate the discussions, we can trigger the discussions we have put in. So usually when we read literature, when we speak with respect to a lot of chambers, we find that land reforms is one important area which the state should look into. Availability of land is a constraint which has already been brought to our notice. But we have land data bank or something deployed by the government. Then are there any issues relating to the finance access, market access, or government procurement? Because government procurement you should understand in the sense that close to, if you typically take our GDP, it is close to about 320 lakh crore, 320 trillion. So government of India would be spending close to about both the governments should be spending about 30% of your GDP, which is a sizable amount. You leave about the salaries as well as this thing. So sizable amount of government expenditure is happening in our economy. Now, worldwide, if you compare it with USA, you compare it with the OECD countries, it will be in the nature of 40 to 45%, or maybe into 39%. So government also has to catch up on the government expenditure side in relation to the GDP. So the point is that government also plays a big role within the GDP as a procurer, as a main salary player, promoting the consumption. It plays a lot. So in that space, it has also created a space for the small scales, medium, as well as the micro enterprises. It has been implementing various schemes also for the benefit of this industry. So we need to see that, the intent is there. Now, is the intent translating into real actions? Have you been able to really draw into this one? If not, what do you think needs to be changed? Okay. So this is basically what we are looking into in today's stakeholder interactions.
Now I request our dignitaries to kindly come to the stage for the interaction. Mr. Vivek Krishna Govind, Mr. Damodar Navanur, Shri Vishnukanth, Ms. Sherin.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Vishnukanth, for setting the tone. I think all of us have understood the context of why we are here, and let us be very candid and understand, again, in a very proactive, positive frame. Let us advise, guide, learn, rather than see this as an opportunity to nitpick on certain things which are not working. We know very well that we are in the state, but even if you are bringing forward a problem, my only request is let's try and, along with that, please give your suggestion also on what needs to be done, because you are at the receiving end. We have a good array of, Lenny is also just joined, so he's from the shipping sector. All the others did a round of self-introduction, Lenny, before you join. So I think we have a good representation, cross-sectoral representation here. So some of the solutions you would know better than any of us. So when you discuss an issue that you face, please also suggest from your perspective and from your experience how we can take that forward. So I'll hand over to our past president, Damodar.
Almost full house in the small hall. I was talking to Vishnu and Sherin. First thing I thought was the government of Kerala having entrusted KSWIFT to NIC. That was a bad move. But then he has his reasons why it was done. I was closely interacting with the state government at that time when KSWIFT was being put into place. Closely interacting with the former Chief Secretary Paul Antony, Dr. Beena, KSIDC, and KPMG, the guiding organization. We went through a whole lot of issues, sat for long hours, but still I feel things are not working as it should. The so-called single window as such is not fully functional. 30 days deemed license, yes. I'll tell you, you're nodding your head, no. It works in one case. Local bodies. The local bodies, K-Smart is not connected to K-Swift. Just because of that, we get a deemed license in 30 days. That stops there. After that, when you go for a door number, you have to go to K-Smart. Am I right? And then all other departments, you take Pollution Control Board for consent to establish. It's directed to the Pollution Control Board's website, and then it stops there. Same with fire department. To obtain an NOC, I don't know whether it's possible with KSWIFT. I'm not sure. It doesn't work. You have not tried. Yes, these people are setting up a big unit in Bala.
So you approach all these organizations individually.
Yeah. We were advised by different people, I'm not mentioning names, but they told me that it's easier to approach them individually, get their approvals, rather than go via cases. And I think that's what we do here.
And I was, on the way, I was talking to general manager of the DIC. He says Telangana's portal is the best. Yeah. So you are saying that's just for manufacturing. Yeah. Since both of us are in manufacturing, we are quite keen with Telangana's website. Okay. And there's another catch. The 3 years, you don't need any license. You can just start. That's suicidal. Then after 3 years, when you decide to apply, you will find that you have done a whole lot of things wrong. And you are really with your back to the wall and
with money invested.
Money invested, that's it. So anyone who wants to start a unit, don't go for that 3-year blanket ban. You'll be in trouble. And there are a whole lot of other issues. Then complicated cases. Now, suppose there are 3 partners. One partner has got the land. He gives it on lease to the company, registered lease. Then the GST department asks, are you in possession of that land? They have built the building, everything is over, but then you don't get the GST registration because this leased land, these people are not able to get a possession certificate. Okay. I know a person in Palakkad who is running from door to door. He has invested around 13 crores in an export-oriented business, and he's still not got possession. This afternoon when I talked to him, he said the concerned department has assured him that he'll get it within a week's time. Let's see. There are so nitty-gritty issues involved. And this has got to be sorted out. This needs to be sorted out. And now these people and all, we don't know where to address these issues. That's when you are forced to go into different, each department's website or their office and get things done. Now, I'll stop here for the time being. Let others do the talking.
Damodar is the face of SME as far as we are concerned, and the most vocal, matured voice, represented multiple organizations, including the Kerala State Small Association, KSSIA. He was the president and has guided the entire ecosystem. For those of you here who may not probably know, let me also welcome Vinodini Sukumar, our charter member, who's the president of the Cochin Chamber of Commerce. She's also joined.
And, basically, we are looking for, currently we have, our unit is 100% export oriented, and we are the first pharma company who is having this much country approval. We have all the various regulatory approval and exporting to it. And so one of our dream is to make an EU approved plant in Kerala, because this is going to be a first of the plant. So in that standard, we are planning to build up a plant. So we will say our experience. Actually, we have started long back on this journey to, to do the business like. So initially, as per the private industrial estate scheme, we have bought some big land and we started working on that because there are some rocks were there. We went into level up that. So then the issues comes from the mining and geology that it has to be. Then we have filed a lot of papers to them, and I think it took around 6, 7, 8 months to clear off, to get a note that you can do that. Then we also then taking into the expenses and everything. So we dropped that project time being, and then we thought of expanding our existing unit, which can go into the EU, which is near to her, and it's almost 2.5 acres land we had. So in that we built up. So the one is our panchayat we are into the Kodunal Panchayat. This is a category 2. That time the occupancy was around 30% like free land. Then we applied to the government, and at least we managed to get 50% because we want to build up in 2.5 acres, almost 100,000 square feet. So based on the requirement of the EU for the pharma, the guidelines, the various requirements are there in complying that when we make it in 38%, then we were not able to use that land. So we approached different authorities, and then we got somehow like it's on a 50%. Till now the paper has not come, but it's on a guarantee. So we have made the designs and everything in that. So that's one stage where we have to go. Like if we gone through KSWIFT test, we got some numbers. Then when it comes to the final situation, then we don't know where we will end up. You cannot make it on that part. And then certain, like looking into the, when we approached on the buildings, and see ours is a pharmaceutical manufacturing unit and it's not a commercial building, and coming into the requirements of the car parking and everything, it's almost 50 car parking, 62 car parking. Total employment is hardly around 200 people, and this much car parking I have to provide. See, the land I am having.
Building code. Right?
Yeah. So this is like, now I'm not in a commercial like that. The people comes and go or something, and company will have one, maybe we may provide a vehicle for the people to come. So we don't need a car parking but this is a requirement that we have to put in this much car parking and scooter parking. So we don't know the reality of that. Then coming into our pharmaceutical, basically, if somebody knows about the industry, they know that we have some receiving bay and dispatch bays. Like now, the requirement of the drawing as per our these things comes to be around 50 numbers of loading and unloading bays. I don't know what is the purpose of that, and we don't need that. Like basically, we need to have a receipt area, then we have to have a dispatch area, because basically it should be a closed environment and it should not be exposed to the environments to have it. Like when we exposed my area to the environment, I have to have a protection of that area. So basically, I need to limit that. But yeah, maximum 3. But the law insists for 15 loading and unloading bays. So what's logic on then? Coming to like on the fire, like ours is a G2 category, and I understand because our consultants are from Bangalore and they were telling that across all over the other states is 21 meters, but in Kerala it is 18 meters. So again, coming into the restrictions, like I cannot increase vertically because my area is limited. I have to have the free occupancy area, then I have to go horizontally, then again it restricts me that I should not go for 18 minutes. So how should I accommodate all my departments?
But
so,
in other states like Karnataka, it is 21.
yeah, it is 21 up to height, but in here I think it's still on 18. So it will take. That's what when we approach the fire people, the consultants told about that. So that's a law, and we are forced to restrict to the 18, and then we have to skews, because when we skews, the problem is like that futuristic expansions are limited. So I made a plant, I cannot make it for 1 year, I have to make it for at least 15 to 20 years. So then it comes to be skews on that. So the expansion for the future or skews on that point.
I'll just intervene. Now, land is scarce. You have to go vertical.
Well, yes.
Here's a discouragement for going vertical.
Yeah. It is built into the rule itself. I mean, basically.
Then like 40-meter clearances we need to have, 2.5 like from the neighboring buildings, or even if they don't have any objections, but NOC is not accepted nowadays. We need to have we have to show drawing in such a way that my area is 40 meters away from that, or I have to give a 100-meter circle drawing stating that no residents are there. So we started this one, we designed everything, we submitted the plan, then near to that one person has built up a residential area. Now we have taken a lease from, they have no objections, like because we've been running the plan, but the lease doesn't work out. I mean, lease not the NOC doesn't accept. Either I have to make a lease agreement that I am buying that and I will be using it for that my purpose. So again, now I have to, revise the drawing in such a way that how should I accommodate the 40 meters. So these all are the, basically comes into that. Okay, then. Okay, these all are on the construction stage we are facing on that, but we have been running the unit for past 20 years, and like on the, preferential purchases policies, and I told if you say the medicines, like Kerala is requiring like, okay, there is a 10% price preferences are. 15 is there, like.
It's working.
Yeah, that's working.
And you are able to draw that benefit of that 15%, right?
But the prices when compared to the other unit, like, it's all there, like wherever it is there, when the price calculation comes, it is there. So, but in other states, in Kerala, basically the pharmaceutical industries are very less. So I think government can look into that. That may help them.
Yeah. Different states have different type of practices in terms of procurement from the MS.
But that type of target is not here.
The market, probably the price purchase itself, that 15% is the good enough.
But the minimum purchase, like if a unit is there, like that guarantee is not there. So that's if that can be, startups units or somewhere, it will be, much more helpful, because the initial stage pharma getting into the business into the other plant, it will be difficult because, but the product stability and everything establishment, that's what I mean to say, take up around that point. And the registration in foreign countries takes a lot of time. Like we have to submit the ended dossier, and then we have to be in queue, and then it will take. So the domestic business may be the boost for the initial years, especially on that point. And then we've been like, we have other land and we have one land. So using this land for one of my other building, like for example, my current land where I'm planning to build, it's in another company names, maybe it's a SANS Parenterals, and currently SANS Laboratories, and SANS Parenterals also land, like I want to set up the SANS Laboratories Unit 2 in SANS Parenterals land. It's all the managements are same, everything is same, but we have to register the deed and everything, then we have to pay that tax part to the government. So it was it's a huge amount for us in the initial stages where I have to establish the business. So if the ownerships are the remain same, still for the documentary evidences, we have to do that and we have to pay these things. So these all are the certain difficulties we are coming across as we are going through the current stage of that, of establishing it. And we've been approaching each department, like, see, you say, like, we've been submitted different application. Now, even in the Panchayat application, it's in the revenue review of the clerk only. Yeah. So it's not going like within 30 days or within 2 days, I submitted the application, I get a feedback. No, we have to still run again all the department to see the status of my applications or how it goes on. Yeah. Department, the same matters, they have a different rule. So we have to go with the stringent ones. I feel
there are coherent approach in terms of how rules are set. Each of them look in a very narrow perspective, and I think we need to come together if, you know,
yeah. In fact, we have noticed one thing. Say, for example, like you have that Water Pollution Act. You know, it has minimum 120 days time. You know, they have time of given up to 120 days time. When somebody applies, they can take up to 120 days to give the consent. But you have another policy which says that in 30 days you have to give. Right, so there is a lot of incoherence between them. Different people play on their own time. So a lot of stuff has to be done. Thank you very much for these points. Particularly, say, for example, if you are coming from, say, for example, pharmaceutical industry, right? If we take typically pharmaceutical industry as a sector, what would be other challenges? Like if you typically see the government's interventions, it is in the nature of, say, for example, sometimes they will give you margin money, some working capital loans, or some tax concessions, or there are certain institutions which run some trainings. These are the type of interventions which we are seeing. Are these the interventions you really want from the government, or do you expect government to play a different role in terms of a facilitator? Of course, the KSWIFT and integration issues will be taken up, but apart from that, do you feel any other area where government can act as a very proactive role in terms of facilitating? Say, for example, skilling, right? Pharmaceutical industries probably would require a lot of students or graduates who is coming from this particular. You need to create an ecosystem so that you are able to anchor these people inside the Kerala itself. You are able to do it. From a government perspective, it's very important. So you need to gear up, say, probably all your higher education departments. Sufficient number of quality courses have to be done. So can government, what are the policy alternatives government can have with respect to these pharmaceutical industries? Apart from this, obviously got this.
See, when we are working in a regulated market or semi-regulated markets, the departments, I think even the people or the resources over here. So somebody like that way of experts, we are not getting even from our departments or somewhere like that, because it's not their fault or our fault like that. We have to hire from the other companies. So that type of knowledge giving will be a good on the regulatory aspect. So
it can be geared upon that. So when we had an interaction with the industry chamber of commerce or a FICCI, in industry academic collaboration, the people who are on the graduation stage itself, they should be facilitated towards curriculum. So, but we rarely see such programs in the government budget, right? So, I can answer your question.
What the government should do is get off our backs. Of course, Kerala is a very fine state. Let me be positive. When you compare to other states and all, it's very comfortable to do business out here. But then there are some departments and local people who give a complaint to the collector, and then you have to do a lot of explaining and all that. Of course, there's a recent High Court judgment which says that if you have all the licenses, no department can ask you to close. If a group of people or a neighbor or whoever complains, the government need not act. It's a recent judgment. Now, regarding your problem of removing granite and mud and all that, I met a gentleman 2 weeks back. He had the same problem. He used all the laterite and granite to build his factory. So he didn't take it out. That's one way. But then whether he got the permission or not, I don't know. But then he managed it. So.
Our aim was also to build up the boundaries and everything. But like when we are mining them, so we have to get, because we got the PLI, the private industrial estate scheme was basically we don't have to get any permission from any other department. So we were gone in that spirit only, like we had developed done, and then only it has come up into at that point. Yeah.
That 37 private industrial
parks,
yes.
We are one of that. Yes.
Government will give some 3 crores of incentive.
Yeah, for the development and everything like that.
I think you have worked with some
Kerala colleges. But none of them approach us for a job. I don't know where they're going. So if this curriculum is changed,
pharmacy, people will be going into pharmacy sales. Some people not in the industry. Much people are coming up.
yes, that's right. That's
I
right.
have B.Pharm students in my CA office.
Another challenge that we face is with the drugs department for product approval.
Yeah.
That's a Herculean task, new products. I mean, we don't come out with new molecules, but then if you're going to come out with an existing molecule by ourselves, the approval from the drugs department takes quite a while. You can't blame them,
Yeah.
but then that's how it is.
And the charges for COPPs are very high. I think recently made on.
We're talking on the skilling part of getting students into getting students into industry. This is something that we hear whenever we go for industry academia partnerships. Whenever we've gone into organizations, also they're all requesting for partnership with industry so that students are prepared for it much earlier, right? So they want to get prepared and they can choose the industry they want to go to. And if it's pharma, they're looking at studying and going further. And it's good for them to actually go for a skilling program or a partnership with a company and just go and train over there. And it is something that every organization we have gone to, even a couple of MOUs that we have signed also, they're looking forward to a skilling program. And when you look at actually the challenges we are facing here is that most of the industry heads, would like to do something for them, but they do not have a structured way in which to skill students, nor do they have the time to do that. So there has to be some intervention happening there whereby these students can actually get some proper skilling program, maybe a designed one, sector-wise. That's also a challenge that we seem to be facing. But an industry-academia partnership is something that is in very high demand, and every institution is asking us for that. And considering TiE has a cohort of all people from various industry, they catch us first and they want us to commit to a partnership so that we can give time to skilling sector-wise. Sector-wise.
Say for example, suppose if you typically take the industries. So what can be the type of industries which can be suitable for the state? Suppose if we are thinking in that line, then a lot of efforts, a lot of policy interventions, intent has to be brought in for these sector-specific industries, right?
True.
Right. So a lot of skilling has to happen. You have to catch them young. You have to train them, mentor them. So government also can intervene, can facilitate. Government by giving money, it may not be.
No, it will not.
It need not. While giving money, also what we have also seen is, say for example, they are thinning resources across too many sectors. Say for example, margin money. Sometimes it is 5 lakhs, 2 lakhs. It doesn't make much of a sense. Right. So these type of issues come. Many times government interventions need not be money, but it can probably get out. Right. So for example, in many states I have heard that they have implemented third-party certification in the pollution control system. Right. So these are the policy alternatives which we can think of. So have you ever suggested these things to the government? Suppose pollution, every time when we speak or when we audit pollution control board or when we see these frictions very much alive. Industries, they are supposed to inspect, they can't inspect because they don't have the manpower. By the time they invest, industries have set up a lot, they have invested money, they can't withdraw. So these type of frictions are very common. Now how do you sort out these solutions? Of course government cannot recruit too many people into pollution control board and they can't pay it. So are there any policy alternatives? Basically TiE or Chambers of Commerce or FICCI, have you ever suggested?
I think what we have suggested is decriminalizing provisions. The problem here is not with the act per se or with the pollution control board, but it is to do with the many a time loosely worded statutes which have been there for. There is a Hazardous Waste Management Act, there is a Poisons Act, and there are innumerable acts like that. And you sometimes hear about an act only when somebody gets a notice. A vindictive action, if somebody decides to take against an industry, they can dig up and find 100 acts which have been there from pre-independence days, dig up, and these are all, I'm talking 1832 Act, 1864 Act and all that. Notices come and sometimes it's insane. One of the large corporates here had the most advanced, filtered water, drinking water thing, and then they come and they say that you have not kept a glass tumbler there. Because in some old act, it says it is mandated that every few meters you must have a glass tumbler. And then this is a violation, So these kind of, decriminalizing the Jan Vishwas scheme, which is put in place by the center 2 years ago, we are seeing the benefit of that. some 500 or 600 odd provisions have been decriminalized. Similar, things are happening here. I'm not saying it's not, but then, lot of deep comb review needs to be done in many of these statutes to cull out all the at least the criminal. Civil side is okay, you can go on for, notice, you reply, you can keep going up and down, but something you get is, and a prosecution notice to not only managing director, some independent director sitting in the US will also get a prosecution notice, come and appear in the next 48 hours and all that. Then that's the problem.
Very true. In fact, the Gen was Act 23 and 26, close to about 500, they also have decriminalized. Kerala government also have identified acts. They are yet to, they have reviewed close to about 40 acts. They have identified, maybe one or two they could get through it, but others I think it's in the pipeline. But the point to be seen is that when you are taking this exercise, there needs to be a constant interaction with the industries. They have probably set up a committee. They must have reached out to the chambers of commerce. They must have identified these things. So does these things really happen, whether you get an opportunity to suggest on decriminalization? Because when we as part of audit, when we visit to the clusters or some of the parks, many of them are even not been aware about decriminalization. These are some of the large keywords which is going above their heads.
It happened a long time back with Pala Tachar. There's a rule, central government rule, that you have to have 40% oil in all your pickles. No Malayali will take a pickle which has got 40% oil. So the Kerala companies make pickles which meets the requirement of the Kerala consumers. The food inspectors inspected Pala Tachar's pickles in different shops, filed criminal cases for adulteration. That was the charge. And he, being a straightforward person, if he had given 300 rupees at that time, he would have got scot-free. He didn't do it. He fought it out. Finally, it reached a stage that he was going to be arrested. Then we scaled up this matter, and Uman Chandi was the chief minister at that time. He called all the concerned secretaries, and he said, what's the crime? This guy has not added enough oil in his pickles, and it is adulteration. The chief minister at that time asked, by this, George Isaac, what was his name? Probably you may know him now, Palatachar. By this move, is it going to harm the health of any of his consumers? None of the officers could say yes. He said, drop the case. But that's a one-off incident. It won't happen always.
Everybody doesn't have the bandwidth.
Yes, that's it. And it shows because of the guts of the then chief minister who did it.
We can take a few more views.
Yes.
Maybe another 30 minutes.
Of doing business, you were talking about the pollution control. See, basically, I run a chain of laboratories. So, right now, the biggest problem that we face is the chicken and egg kind of story. Whether the chicken came first or the egg came first. Because for applying for a normal corporation license or a municipality license or a panchayat license, the first thing that they ask is whether you have got a pollution license. Okay. And when you go to the pollution department, that is, we have got this, system wherein we can tie up with a company called Image and take the license. But if you have to get an Image license, you need a corporation license. And the corporation, and it is supposed to be an online thing, so it's supposed to be ease of doing business is very easy. I'm talking about a 500, 600 or maximum 1,000 square feet kind of place. So that's one scenario. Okay, in Chennai, I have this thing. Chennai, the thing is that, like you said, it's been privatized, so it is easy. Here, the charges are maybe just 1/10 of what we pay in Chennai. But looking at it from that point of view, yes, Kerala is better. But over there, if you pay the charge, you're sure to get this. Here, it is the other way around. So we don't know. See, now, I'll tell you, in one of my units, what happened was, I already had, my licenses in place. So I wanted to apply for a scan license and an X-ray license together. So the next time when we went for the renewal, the annual renewal, they said, where is the AERB license? That is the Atomic Energy Board license. And without the corporation license being renewed, Atomic Energy Board will not give the license, and without that particular thing, you cannot import or buy an X-ray machine. So whom do we go to? This is the question. See, we are running from pillar to post because If you have to procure a machine like that, you need a corporation license primarily. Okay. Now the corporation, without knowing anything, they are saying, where is the atomic energy license? Where do we get this from? No, because we don't come under the DIC at all. We are a service industry. We don't come under because basically what we need. Now they've come out with something called a motor license. We don't even know that, and even the people over there are not able to answer. Another major problem is all this is with in the hands of somebody called a health inspector. Okay. And this person is not knowledgeable of anything. Okay. And if my people go to each of these places to find the health inspector, he will come, okay, he'll say, I'm very busy with, this thing, my field inspection, so you come on such and such date. And when they go on that date, this person will not be there inevitably. This has been happening. So I just wanted you to note this down, because at least for getting a basic license, what you have to ensure is, please give the basic license, then ask for a pollution license. Okay, so
I would say when we were studying the literature or in the larger point is that how do you sort out this issue? What is the learning? These individual things will happen, but there is actually an emergence of learning which is coming out from the discussion, is basically to design the system, know your approval system in a proper manner, so that there is a clarity across all the stakeholders, so that the time and effort is not wasted. That's the point. While CAG, we don't give generally, we give recommendations, right? So these recommendations will have value, definitely will have value. But when we go into nitpicking one particular case, lot of things will not happen. But these type of interactions will also help us assimilate. Now I will go and present this matter, right? So I hope I will do my 100% to put this across. That is what I can simply say. But we will definitely, the very purpose of this exercise, doing it horizontally, parallelly across different states, is to understand the maturity level across the different states. You said that in Chennai, they have employed private third-party inspectors for the pollution control board. Then naturally the question for is that why can't we, right?
No, not inspectors.
Yeah, in the sense that there is a
Party.
system.
Yeah, there's a system.
So the point is to be seen is that we want to compare, we want to gauge, and we will come out with the recommendations on that. This is the precise point. Yeah.
I would like to ask a follow-up question on that. Wasn't there, after you faced these many difficulties, wasn't there any grievance redressal mechanism where you could go to, where somebody would suggest either manual or...
you come, because the license was about 5,000, 6,000, whatever. So you said, it's been pending for some time, but it's been pending not because of our fault, because of this fault. So you come with some 30,000 rupees to me, and then I will, pay the fees and everything and get it done. So my finance people sitting in Cochin said, whatever has to be paid to the government, we will pay it online. Okay. No, but then this man insists, no, you cannot pay it online. You have to come to me with cash. So you understand the reason why. So, and you asked about a conflict resolution. That is the best way to resolve things here.
Industry Academy. If the government can incentivize taking on trainees by the industry, that will work. Yeah.
It's a central government scheme now.
Why isn't the private investment coming in that place? Like, we have a lot of coaching institute. Like, why isn't any private entity tying up with the industries and doing the skill development part for fresh passed out?
Yeah. Vinodini, scope for you.
So we in the IT sector, so this was actually the major issue which the companies were facing. We were not getting the right talent to join the different domains of the companies. So what we actually did is we actually formed a consortium of companies across Kerala to actually have an industry academia collaboration. So we actually formed a consortium of around 300 companies. That includes the large company as well as the SME, MSME, etc. And had actually the collaboration between different universities. For example, KTU was there, Kerala University, Calicut University, KSWIFT and all. Then through them, we actually connected with all the colleges under them. So if we see around 157 engineering colleges are there in Kerala. And apart from that, the other arts and science colleges are also there. So we actually had a couple of discussions with them, along with institutes like KDISC were there, and then KKM, Kerala Knowledge Economy Mission were there. And then what we formed is like a platform which is known as MuLearn. So you can actually go through the website mulearn.org, so which is called as peer learning. So that's how it started. And then from each of these companies, they nominated one HR and one technical mentor to this platform. And then each of these colleges actually endorsed this initiative within their colleges. And one faculty member, that is actually a placement officer or a senior faculty, was nominated along with the students. So now, as of now, we actually have around 65,000 students in that platform. And that platform is actually divided into different interest groups. For example, in IT sector, we actually have domains like AI is there, cognitive computing, then machine learning, etc. So this interest group has been formed according to the interest of the candidates. So there is no compulsion for all the students to join. So we require all the passionate students who want to actually get exposure to the industry. And that also, along with that, we actually formed an FDP also. FDP means Faculty Development Program, wherein actually we involve faculties also to get into the industries, because they also should know what is the current trending technologies which is actually going on to the IT sector. So this has been actually started in the year 2022. Now it is actually running successfully with the help of government also. So now this platform is actually run by students. So the students actually do it in a voluntary basis, but we actually provide them as an internship. And the fund is also actually coming from KDISC, KKM and all. So government is also now supporting through the funding. So you can actually just go through this mulearn.org, then you will get an idea like how this is actually being run. So this industry, MuLearn, MULEARN.org. Yeah.
When Divya invited us, I was so amused how an accountant general is calling for ease of doing business. That was a curiosity led to here. I'm not talking about very specific cases. There are 3 points I would like to mention which may be of interest to you, which is very simple, straightforward, very fundamental stuff when you talk about ease of doing business. One very positive thing, both the political leadership and the bureaucratic leadership and the civil society has started talking about ease of doing, and it has become a conversation material. So there is some kind of a positive will. So you can't, maybe because of the social media, digital pressure and things like that has come up to the biggest culprit in all these things is the acts and statutes, the outdated laws. Not maybe 5% of the individuals maybe, but generally speaking, because of the outdated, which is not relevant to the current times, industries have evolved, everything has changed, but the laws and the statutes, the acts, everything is most of the time. So this has to be a very, very big effort. Okay, the government has started doing that both at the state and central level, but I think this is the biggest thing for ease of doing business. Everything has to be repealed, everything has to be modernized, everything has to be, remove all this, like we are talking about. There are hundreds of, because then the interpretation comes. Then only the individual's role is coming. So when you have a clean, simple, straightforward law, then the chances of interpreting is. Now to avoid the bias, the second thing is to have a proper digitalization. When you have clear-cut policies, laws, everything, even beneficiary, I can read and understand. And when you have a system, which is also not human-centered, so then it solves the issue. Then everything, with the political will and this laws and the digitalization. Like Vivek knows when I remember starting 26 years back, and now the IT income tax refunds, how fast it has become because of the change in that thing. Now there are a lot of positive things have happened because of the digitalization. So the laws are the biggest culprit, not the individuals, not the leadership. The laws has to be changed, which is a Herculean task.
What are the provisions which you think it should not, it is at this point of time, it's not relevant? We can get it examined and we can examine it, and probably we will be able to take this forward. So we can circulate one small survey question, Google form. If you can, through your members, can identify and tell us. Say, for example, you told about that 18 meter to 21 meter. At least we will have a basket of cases to examine, and then probably we will do. And we will also see whether the state has already been cognizant of it. If it is not cognizant, we can always ask this question, why can't we do it? At least we can put this question to that. We can have deliberations on this one. So I would request TiE to help us with that. We will design a particular thing. Similarly, when you spoke about digitalization has to be an end-to-end. So one of my senior officer has said, like, if you want to export, from a company's perspective, you load into your transport, say maybe a lorry, then you take it to a railway station, then you take it to the customs port and you export. Now, you should ideally be filling application once. The system should talk to each other, right? Yes. If e-way bill you have filled, again you go to railway, this thing you have to fill up. Then you go to customs, you have to fill up another one. This is not reducing the compliance burden. So we also need to look at these type of the places where this can be integrated, right? So we need basically also help from your side to identify those cases, because once you work, you are the persons who run this one. You understand it much better. We will be looking from a very shallow and theoretical perspective. But if you can bring it to our notice, we would be of.
That reminds me, the government becomes one of the biggest buyer for MSME, or that's what government wanted to say. And in all the tendering processes, e-tender and all those things, every time you need to submit all these documents, sign, scan. If it is a repository, you can't hear that financials are not going to change, Aadhaar is not going to change, but there is no provision. You have to do all these things, and auditors get money for that. Every time they have to submit a report.
If you have an identification number, if you have an identification number, and that includes all these details.
This is every time you have to do all these things.
In conclusion,
if they are eligible to that, if something is happening, they even go to the point of taking disciplinary action for not facilitating this one. So there is lot of intention and everything is there. So this is also there. So not only portal, it is why iPass is also working is because the applications are also systematically followed up within the state itself. That's also.
Right. I think there are no questions. Can we wind up? All of you? Anybody? Any last question? No? Sir? Balanjan sir? Okay. So on behalf of TiE, let me thank our eminent guests today, Mr. Vishnukanth, Ms. Sherin, and the entire team. I think we really must appreciate, as you said, perspective of an auditor is changing. Being an auditor myself, this is something we speak at every board meeting. Auditor is not a fault-finding body. Auditor is not somebody who's here to come and only talk about the negatives. We understand your positives probably as much as you do. We are seeing other organizations, we get that. And so it is very, very important that, when people who are in the audit side, their understanding is definitely, many a time one notch above what, many of the organizations can see. And when they proactively get into it, rather than, fault finding and saying so much of loss, so much of, that is part of the job. We can't run away from the job. That is our basic job. But there is also an element where value addition and profit maximization and cost reduction and statutory compliance and overall, right here, the ease of doing business itself. I think we really must appreciate more than any other department when you see that the AG's office is taking this initiative. It is highly laudable, and I'm sure it is also to do with the people present. Certainly there must be an initiative from the top, but it also takes a lot from them to travel from Trivandrum, come, spend a couple of days, actually very sincerely trying to understand. This is not just some awareness talk where you come and show some slides and run away. No, they're genuinely very keen about it, want some follow-up action on it. So we also assure you from our side, we have a very large member base. We'll share the questionnaire which you send, and to the best of our ability, we'll be with you in this journey. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Vivek. I think on conclusion, I must also thank each and every one of you who have taken your time. Damodaranji has actually traveled close to about 5 hours from all the way from Perinthalmanna to here to anchor this meeting. Thanks a lot. It's not ease of doing business is not only why we are here is not only because of the background audit which is also happening. It is also from a deep conviction which I have developed in the sense that I have worked in the both sides, both as an auditor as well as when my stint as director budget, I have seen how big is the government, right? So, and I also realize a lot of credit has to be taken, I mean effort has to be taken both by the government as well as by the industry. If you want to have a developed nation very soon, if you want to keep your kids in Kerala, if you want to stop migration, if you want to change that demographic dividend to that extent, a lot of effort has to be taken by everybody who is involved. In government service, we generally, when we have a saying, like when we travel abroad, as a government servant, I represent government of India. It is not nowadays not restricted to government, right? Even the industries who are rooted in the country, they are the brand ambassadors of the India, right? So that conviction has to also to come to the industry, it has to come to the government side, and lot of responsibility sharing, lot of deliberations, interaction has to happen both from the executive, from a auditor's perspective, as also from the industry perspective. So this is the background, this is the conviction which I am carrying. That's why we took this initiative to reach out to the TiE, and it will definitely help because now we have given a lot of valuable inputs. We would try to ground truth it as much as feasible, and we will keep this in mind when we take up individual departments also, when we start the process. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for the very engaging discussion. Now I request Damodar sir to deliver the concluding remarks, please. Once again. Thank you. Thank you all the participants. Kindly join us for the high tea.